I have been talking to you guys about KV Core, KV Core, KV Core, right? Talking to you guys about your databases. I've been sending you guys stuff to send to your database, right? Share this with your database. Go share this somewhere. Text all your people, call all your people, right? So I've been talking to you guys about sending valuable information out to your team. Okay. However, today we have an expert, Clinton Sistrunk, and Clinton is from the Colorado mortgage team, and he is going to teach us about database farming. Thank you for coming, Clinton.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I love that you call me an expert. That means I'm doing something right.
You're an expert. It's all about getting strategic partners on your team, you guys. And I just want to say that when I moved to Colorado, I decided to do a couple of things, right? I decided to strategically align with new people that had a passion for the business, obviously could get loans closed, but they were more than just a lender, right? They were a strategic partner that could help you with your business. They can help your clients get into great homes with great loan products. But more than anything, the reason why I love Clinton and his team is one, they've been incredibly helpful in helping me fill classes. You know, that one class I had, which was the dominant thoughts class, and dominate your business. We had over 150 people in there, and they helped me do that. So if you're doing events, you definitely have to use them. They are specifically located in Colorado. But the other thing that I love is they're always staying on top of technology, right? And with that said, I have not seen one mortgage company or even a team use their database like they use it. So I love that, Clinton, you guys have multiple partners that are using it. I love the voicemail drops and all the things that you guys do. And so this is a class I'm really excited to be in and to learn from you. So without further ado, welcome, Clinton.
Thank you. Well, all right. So database farming is a huge subject. I mean, we could probably spend 6 hours covering unique stuff on it. So what I'm going to teach you today is what I've been doing since I started in this business in 2007. And it's a combination. Well, I shouldn't say started in this business, started actually marketing my database and following a system. I went from operations to originating in 2006, and I had no guidance and kind of had to just kind of figure out how to build and drive business. And it wasn't until I started actually creating a database and farming it and following a system that I actually started to have some success in my career. And I will tell you that this is something that's very easy to do. It's not complex. Few do it, even fewer do it well. And it's the most powerful thing you can do in your business. So there's a lot of ways to go out and generate business. That's very difficult, whether it's cold calling, whether it's door knocking, whether it's working expired listings. But when you're talking to your database, it's an extremely easy way and very lucrative way. We call it low-hanging fruit to drive business. And the reason this is because of something called the monkey sphere. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the monkey sphere, but it is a concept that the average person can hold about 150 people in their mind and recall what they do. And that's called the monkey sphere. So ultimately, your goal is to be in as many monkey spheres as possible and to stay there. And that is the key to success. Now, most people, you may not realize this, but Nike is like the ultimate company at doing this. When you think about athletics and shoes, you think about Nike. They are a marketing company. But did you know that Nike does not make actual shoes? They don't make shoes. They outsource it to a third party. They are a marketing company, and they are masters of being in the monkey sphere. And that's what makes them so successful. All right, so today I'm going to teach you 3 ways to do this. Now, there's lots of other ways that you can stay in contact with people. If you follow Brian Buffini, he'll tell you to do pop-bys, show up, bring them gifts. You should do handwritten letters, thank yous, things like that. But we're going to talk about the 3 basic elements. And if you just do even one of these 3, you're going to get such a great return on your investment. You'll be miles ahead of everybody else. And I will admit, I only did one email for years. And then I think in 2015, I implemented mailers. I never called anybody. And then we started calling people. I partnered up. My partners love to call people. I let them call. And it's just amazing every time you add one of these elements. So I was able to build a turnkey business of repeat and referral clients with just emails and mailers, no phone calls at all. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that because you want to do a lot more business and put it in overdrive and get quicker results. So you want to implement all 3. And I'm going to teach you how to do that and do it very successfully today. And I'll drop some other nuggets along the way, like where you focus your attention. You're going to want to put people into categories in your database. They're going to fall into an A, B, or C category. An A category is going to be somebody that is one of your raving fans. They love you. Anytime somebody needs help on the real estate side, they're going to refer you. You definitely know they're going to give your name out. You know, I equate this to sometimes I drop business cards in my mailers, and some of my clients are like, we make it a contest of how we can give your card away or where we can put it, right? They're just like over the top trying to get my name out there. B clients are, maybe they're going to refer you. You think they will, but it's not a guaranteed thing. It kind of depends on the weather and the mood that they're in, but there's a good chance they're going to refer you. And then C clients are people that they're going to use you again. They're going to come back. They're repeat clients, but they're probably not going to refer you. They just don't kind of put themselves out there like that. They don't interject into conversations, you know. And so the reason we're categorizing these people is because you're going to put certain focus on your A's and not on your C's. So if you're going to do an in-person, we're going to bring them rum chata for Christmas and drop it off, right? You're not going to do that for your C clients. You're going to do it for your A clients that are in your database, right? Now, for me, my database is all past clients that I've closed deals with. And that's where we've gone to. But in the beginning, your database are the people that are your strategic partners, that you're connecting with all the time, that are really kind of involved in your business, want to know what's going on. And until you get to where you have enough past clients that you're focusing just on past clients, you're going to have some of these other people that are going to be included in your database. Actually, I'm going to go back here. I want a couple other things I want to point out here. Emails. I'm going to highly encourage you to find a way to put it on autopilot. And here's the reason why. When it's on autopilot, it happens when you're sleeping and you can't screw it up. You can't not send the email. Okay, now there's going to be other times you're going to send very specific emails, happy birthday, happy home anniversary, something like that. But you want to automate as much of this as possible so you can't not send it. It gets you out of your own way. Most people think that other people think about them way more than they do, and it puts barriers to them taking action. So when you automate things, you take those barriers away. Also, a lot of people have call reluctance. Most people don't want to pick up the phone and make phone calls. But the reality is that you're going to get a voicemail 70% of the time that you make that phone call. So chances are you're not going to talk to them. You're just going to talk to their voicemail. And the good thing about calling your database is usually they want to talk to you. They want to hear from you. They've worked with you, or they know you really well and they like you. So it's not like cold calling. And same thing with the mailers. You're going to write those based on a system. You're not going to stare at a blank paper like, what am I going to write this month? You're going to know. It's going to be planned out and mapped out. All right. So we talked about voicemails. I'm going to share with you some scripts today, and we'll send you all these slides. You don't have to write all this stuff down, but your voicemail is just going to be very simple. You're going to want to call your database. I tell people 3 times a year, we like to put it on a calendar. So you know when you're calling. Today, I got these 10 calls. We're going to knock them out. Some of those calls might be on the anniversary date of when someone closed, or it might be on their birthday, or it might be around a holiday. So you're going to have that on the schedule. You're going to kind of know what you're calling about, but you're simply going to call and just say, hey, this is so-and-so from this company. I helped you with buying and selling your home. And I just wanted to give you a quick update. And this just creates engagement, right? And most people won't pick up the phone and call you when they need you. But if you call them at the right time, they're going to use you. It's just a weird thing in this industry. In our business, we have people that are pre-approved out shopping, and they'll have basic questions. They won't pick up the phone and call us. They'll just sit and do nothing. And then we reach out to them once a week by phone, and we get them on the phone and they ask us a simple question about mortgage insurance or homeowners insurance. We answer that question, and 2 days later, they're under contract. It's a weird thing. People just won't do it. So you need to be the person that's reaching out, making that connection, giving them the opportunity to say, oh yeah, you know what? So-and-so's buying a house. Let me connect you with them. Now, this is a script for live answer. When you're got call reluctance, one of the best things to do is script it out, even if you sound robotic in the beginning, because you're going to say the same thing every single time. And so even sounding very robotic gets better results than doing nothing. And every time you read the script or you go through that script, you're going to do two different things. One, you're going to get more comfortable with it, so it will be less robotic. And two, you're going to put your own voice on it. You're going to change the words around. You're going to sound like you. Repetition is the key here. Also, if you've got a CRM system that will allow you to, you can send out text messages along with voicemails. And so you can write all those text messages up front so they'll automatically send it out. There's lots of systems out there, and most of them are built around automation. All right. So we talked about call reluctance.
Hold on, pause, please. Can I ask you guys all to put your phones on mute? Normally I have access to that, but it's not letting me, and it's interfering with the recording. So
oh, you know what? I bet I have access to that. Let's see.
Yeah, it normally lets me put everybody on mute, but it's not even showing me. Actually, if you stop sharing your screen, really quick.
Okay.
Oh, that's really weird. Nope. Well, I'm just gonna have everybody put yourselves on mute. Perfect. Everybody's on mute. Thank you. Sorry to ruin your flow there, but
No, it's fine.
Recording.
Okay. So call reluctance. Just make the call. What I will tell you about this business is anything's better than nothing. Most people do no business because they don't do anything. They don't take any kind of action. And whether you're shooting video, you're writing an email, you're making a phone call, you're outdoor knocking, whatever it is that you're doing to drive business, take action. It will put you miles ahead of most of the people in your industry. And every time you take action, you get better, you get more comfortable, you get more natural. I'm an introvert. I hate being in front of people. I hate teaching. I hate networking. I hate groups. I'd love to live in a hole if I could and not interact with anybody.
But you're really good at teaching.
I push myself to the limit and get out of my comfort zone all the time because that's what it takes. I came out of operations. I was in operations, not sales, not because I'm a salesperson, because I'm an operation person. I love being stuck at a desk in a cubicle in the corner and not having to deal with it. But that's not how we drive business, right? So the point is that you are your biggest barrier. Most people don't think about you at all, but you think they are always thinking about you. So just pick up the phone and call them, and you'll find out that these people really actually want to talk to you. All right, so I talked about putting this on the calendar. You want to reach out to your database 3 times a year is ideal. 4 times, probably okay, but you don't want to reach out too often. You don't want to reach out too little, because remember, you're trying to be in the monkey sphere where they think real estate agent and they think you and hand out your information. Now, why do you call them? Well, you can call them for all sorts of different reasons. You can call them on holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, and you can call them with cool stuff about tips when the season changes, or maintenance ideas on their house, or various tips and hacks. And I'll show you where we find all this stuff. All right, Phone Burner is a really cool tool that's going to save you a lot of time when you start making lots of phone calls. So usually when you have about 200 people in your database that you're calling or more is when you want to start looking at a tool like this. And what Phone Burner does is it allows you to record one voicemail when you're fresh, when it sounds great. I mean, when you're at the 150th voicemail, I mean, you just don't sound as good, right? Your voice is tired, your mind's tired, you're making mistakes. So you record one amazing voicemail, and then you upload all your contacts into Phone Burner, and it dials through them. And when it gets a voicemail, it'll record the voicemail. And when you get a live connection, it'll automatically connect you. And it's not one of those like delayed connections where there's silence for a few seconds, and then you hear a click and there's the person in the call center when you get robocalled. Like, it connects you in real time. The phone's ringing, you're on the line, and you connect through. But it could be leaving 7, 8 voicemails in the meantime while you're having that conversation. And then you have a dashboard there where you can click a button and also send out texts, send out emails, things like that very quickly. So this is just a tool that you want to explore. Just know it's out there when you get to that point, because you want to leverage your time.
So can we pause really quick here?
Absolutely.
The Phone Burner, you can use it as a plugin with our CRMs, or?
So I can use it with mine. We use Be in Touch. You'd have to look at each individual CRM, but they do have APIs that I mean, they're in the business of trying to make it connected, make it as easy as possible. I can't speak outside of Be in Touch because I don't use a different system, but for us, we can go in and identify 100 people within our CRM system that we want to call, and then it'll go right into Phone Burner.
Okay.
If it doesn't connect to your system for whatever reason, you can put those contacts into a CSV sheet, like an Excel CSV sheet, and just upload it into Phone Burner. And then it'll keep all those contacts, and you can do contact management in there as well. But absolutely, if it connects through with your CRM system, it's an easier, better way to go.
Okay. And then you're saying it can also send like a text message or anything like that as well behind
Correct.
the call.
Yep. So a lot of times we're calling about a certain subject, and if we get a voicemail, we immediately send them an email that we've pre-written that's talking about that same subject.
I get those. And I was like, I know they're using some like snazzy tool. I love it.
So this saves us a boatload of time every single week, but we make a lot of phone calls.
Thank you. Oh, Michaela wants to know if it's paid or free.
It is a paid service. I want to say I don't honestly know, but I think it's like maybe $100 a month, something like that.
Okay.
It may not even be that expensive. I'm not sure. I don't remember. We pay on an annual basis with it. But when you're getting to that point in your business, you have to start to really think, what's my time worth? Right? Time is our most valuable asset. And not only are you saving time, but the quality of the content that you're putting out is also staying at a high level, because you're recording a voicemail. It's a great voicemail. You record it until you're happy with it. You have a great sounding voicemail, and every one of them is going to sound that way, not having to recreate it on each voicemail. Not to mention, you can leverage it across all kinds of other channels in your business besides just calling your database, because you'll be able to automate so much. It is a great tool, but again, it's you work your way to get there, right? You want to get there. If you're not there, you should be working every day to get there. Here's a quick tip of how you can put people into your database. If you don't know, when I moved here in 2006 to Colorado, I moved here from Washington, D.C. I didn't know anybody. I just really wanted to get out of DC. Quality of life was terrible. My friend said, you'll love Colorado. You're a big snowboarder. You're going to love the mountains out there. So I quit my job and moved across the country. I didn't have a plan. I just moved here. I didn't know anybody. In fact, I'd never even been in the state when I moved here. I moved to Parker and I didn't even know where Denver was. I had no idea where I was in the state. It was crazy. And then since I had no plan, I was like, well, I've been doing this business long enough. Let's just go into originating. Why not? Right? What a great time right before the financial crisis. So I didn't know anybody. I had nobody in my database, nobody to talk to, no dentist, doc, nothing, just nothing. So I had to go out and meet people all over the place. And I met them hiking trails and going to restaurants. And I just connected with everybody I could. And I said, look, if I can hook you up with really good, valuable tips, and I would give them an example, and I can share things. Would you like to be on my insider list? And people were always wanted to, because I had cool information I was giving them. I wasn't talking loans. I wasn't talking real estate. But you got to think, back in 2006, one of the coolest things that I was telling people that I got the biggest response from was, I said, hey, everybody hates to make tough phone calls. But what if there is a way that you could call somebody and leave them a voicemail and it would never ring their phone? You could call them in the middle of the night and not worry about waking them up, waking up their kids. Would that be a cool tip? And everybody wanted to know, well, how do you do that? Now, we all know there's a system called Slide Dial that'll do it kind of like phone burner on mass. But for the average person, that's a really cool thing to know. And so I would give them a phone number. They would call that phone number. They'd put in the cell phone number they wanted to call, and it would go straight to the voicemail and never ring the number. And they could have that tough conversation when they didn't want to talk to people. And people were like, wow, that's really cool information. And I was like, yeah, I share this every single week, all this different stuff. Would you like to be on my list? And I would get their information. Now, what would your business look like if you were able to make 300 more calls a month to prospect, or even 300 calls a year? Or very quickly, you could make 300 calls in a day. It would take you, when I blaze about 300 calls through phone burner, it takes me about 2.5 hours. And that's because 70% of those calls go to voicemail, and I'm leaving that voicemail. Now, of course, that's a little different if you get some long-winded people. If you get me on the phone, it might be 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't know.
I thought you didn't like to teach or talk.
All right, so let's talk about emailing your database. So at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show a bunch of stats from HubSpot that did a analysis of 9 billion emails. And so that's where we get some of this timing and stuff from, and you'll see that. But I will tell you that you're going to get the highest open rate and the lowest unsubscribe rate by sending them an email once a week. And here's what you don't send them. You don't send them real estate information. You don't send them, hey, this is my new listing. Check this out. Because if somebody's not in the market to buy a house in the next 3 months, they're not interested in that. And when you send that to them, they turn you off and you go out of their monkey sphere, because now they're not paying attention. And so you have to send them something that they want. And so what do you send them? Well, you can send them anything about you personally, right? Like, I just had a baby and she's 6 weeks old now. And so when we tell people, we send things out, hey, I just had a daughter, and people love that kind of stuff because they want to get to know you. They make those connections, right? So anything about you is a good thing to share. But if you're automating this, like, I wrote a campaign that's 10 years long. So when someone goes into my drip campaign, they're getting an email once a week for 10 years on autopilot. So none of those emails say, hey, I have a 6-week-old, because it's on autopilot, right? So we go in and we find out cool things that people don't know. tips, hacks, tricks, tell stories. Maybe we share really cool recipes, very little of that, but we do share some cool things because I'm a food junkie sometimes. And we always have like short calls to actions at the end of that. Now, there is some advantage to not automating, because cool things to send out are like what's going on in Denver this weekend, or different kinds of relevant stuff that's in real time, basically, right? And so there's something to be said for doing it live, but at the end of the day, autopilot cannot be missed. And that is super powerful. All right. So here's how I find some of the content for the emails that I create. So, and these are low cost ways for you to find stuff to talk to people about. Go to your library, get books on tips, tricks, hacks, things like that, right? You know, you'll find like the Bible of how to do home remedies, that kind of thing, right? And you get some of those books and you just read through them. And the stuff that you're like, wow, that's a cool tip. That's what you make into an email, right? If it's cool to you, it's cool to somebody else. If you didn't know it, they probably didn't know it either, right? And so you're not going to go in and use everything, but you're going to use the stuff that speaks to you. And then you're going to put that into just a short email. And I'll show you a format of like an email that we do. It's only going to be 3 or 4 lines. And I like to try and find a way to tie it into what I do as a lender and what you would do as a real estate agent. And here's an example of what that might sound like. So one of my tips that I had was scrubbing silverware, like real silverware that gets all tarnished up and that kind of thing. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever had to clean stuff like that. I mean, nowadays people don't even like use that stuff, but back in the day it was like punishment when I was a crazy kid. So maybe I'm just scarred from my childhood, but you had to really work to polish that kind of stuff. However, if you take all that and put it in the dishwasher and throw a scoop of Tang in there, it comes out shiny like it's brand new, right? So for me, when I saw that, I was like, wow, I wish I knew that when I was like 5. So, so I put that in in an email. And then at the end of that email, I said, you know, sometimes our credit is like this tarnished silverware. It's not always, you know, shiny. However, we can help you with very simple tips on how you can clean up your credit and, you know, something to that effect, and give us a call, right? So I just kind of tied it into what I did. So when you're doing these tip emails, you want to just kind of tie it into real estate. I call it a soft call to action. And it's just a friendly like wave at the end of the email that, hey, I'm in the real estate business, right? You can always reach out to me. Now, if you're doing live stuff, and we're going to talk about doing a video sandwich and doing like video connections and things like that. This is a list of the sites that I go to find what's going on locally. Where's all the local content that I want to share? And of course, I'm in Denver. So if you're not in Denver, then this list probably isn't that helpful, but you probably have similar stuff in your area where you can pull content from. Okay. And that's a great way to stay relevant, stay connected. People are always looking at what's going on in their local area. And that's way better than just there's 65 homes on the market, average price $599, the average days on the market 13 days, right? Now, another place to find really cool content is apps, your app store on your phone, right? There's literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands, probably millions of apps on your phone. So what you do is you just go look at the apps that are out there and you find one that does something cool, whatever it is, and put that into an email. Hey, I just wanted to let you know there's this app. It does this really cool thing. This is what it does. You know, I'm always looking out for you. And you put that into an email. So it's an easy way to almost never run out of content because there's so many apps you couldn't email about all of them. And a lot of my emails that are in that 10-year campaign talk about apps that do different things for people that are just really cool things that they do. All right. So we're going to talk about the big, scary video marketing email and how you do it. You don't have to have all this fancy stuff. I do a lot of video. I just do it with my iPhone. I have an iPhone 12. It's not even, I just got a 15. I'm super excited because it's got all these things that my iPhone 12 doesn't do. Like it'll blur my background automatically, which is really cool. I don't know. But that's all you really need in today's world, right? And so and when you do a video marketing email, there's Bomb and there's all these systems you can get and people that try and make it fancy. But at the end of the day, what you're really trying to do is just be a real person, be authentic. You don't have to be super fancy. You just have to be effective. So you pull out your phone, I always tell people, just do one take. Do one take. You want to put the errors in there. You want the be real. You don't want to be so polished and so perfect that people think you're fake, right? You want to just be real. If you mess up, it's okay. You just laugh at yourself, right? You just kind of be you. You can stumble through it. It's the same way as if you're on the phone, right? So once you record this video, you're going to just upload it to YouTube. That is a free service, a free site. If you don't have a channel, I'm going to tell you to get a channel because you should, even if you don't have a public channel, meaning people can't come and watch your videos, you can put them up, you can embed them, you can share, you can make them unlisted or private, so nobody can ever find them. But it's a great tool. It's got a lot of resources for you. It even allows you to edit and all this other different stuff, right? And so you're going to put it up into YouTube so you can grab that link and then you're going to email it out to your database. And we're going to dive into this a little deeper just so you guys can walk away and be empowered to be able to do this tomorrow or today.
Can I just add something here that
Sure.
they're all going to be able to relate to? So you guys all got the email of the role play the other day. Did you guys get the role play email? So it's exactly what I did. I literally recorded it on my phone, Breakfast Club, and then I uploaded it unlisted for those of you who can't attend. And then I sent you the link. So they had a really good example this week of that.
Nice. Nice. It's super effective. Super effective. All right. I'm not necessarily watching the chat, Tanya. So if people come in, they have questions, anything like that, just let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yes, I did say Tang. And they do still have it at certain places. All right. So YouTube, when you go to YouTube, you're going to upload your video. They have a really easy interface on there. It's a little icon that says video. You click on it and you can just drag your video over and it uploads it. You're going to mark it as either public or unlisted. If you mark it as private, nobody will be able to watch it from your link. I would just mark it as unlisted because technically, unless you're going to do more of like a business video or something that like you're going to brand or market with kind of thing, you don't necessarily want it public. So just leave it unlisted. And then you're going to go in, you're going to hit copy, you're going to hit share. So can you guys see my icon, my cursor, the little blue circle?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So you're going to click this share button right underneath the video, and then you're going to hit copy on this link. Okay. And then you're going to write a quick little email that says, now this is if you're doing one about local activities that are going on, right? So I'm going to say in my subject, see you this weekend. Wait till you see what I found that's going on in the Denver area this weekend. There's going to be just a picture of I put a picture of my video in there. You don't have to do that, but I put a little picture in there. And then you say, go here to see the short 2-minute video. And you want to make it short and sweet. You don't want these long videos. Nobody wants to watch all that. And then you're just going to right click and you can put in the link there where people can watch it and then see you out on the town. Real short, real simple. And you're just going to talk about what's happening. So you go back to all those links that I gave you, all those sites, and you go pick out 2 or 3 things that you would be interested in doing. right? Because most of the people that are in your database are connected to you in some way. They've searched our social media channels. Maybe they like the Broncos like you do. Maybe you're both into ice cream and you're ice cream fanatics and you've gone to the Ben and Jerry's factory out east. I mean, whatever it is, they've connected with you. Maybe you guys both have dogs or kids around the same age. So you just talk about what's cool to you, and chances are it's cool to them too. Now with video, just keep it simple, like kind of like call reluctance, right? Just get out there and do it. You just one shot, no editing, shoot outside. It's great to be outside. People love to see you when you're out there. Maybe go to the local park, go into your backyard. You don't have to go to some super fancy place. Just make sure that you've got decent lighting on your face. You're not standing in a shadow where somebody can't see you at all, right? You don't have to put any kind of music into it. Shoot it at a property, right? You're not talking about real estate, but real estate's in the background. Very relevant. Maybe shoot a video in front of your just listed sign or open house sign. Right before you do an open house, shoot a video that you're going to send out to your network about what's going on, right? And you could even say in the video, hey, I'm at this open house, and afterwards we're going to go do this weekend. What are you guys up to? Right? Create engagement, ask questions. And then you're going to do what I call the video sandwich, and we'll show you what that is. And that is just kind of like a very easy equation of how you put together a video that's effective. All right, so this is a video sandwich. You're going to have your intro. Your intro is just going to be like, hey, I'm Clinton with the Colorado Mortgage Team, your Colorado's local home loan lender. And I just wanted to share with you really quickly, right? Whatever it is, just short and sweet. You want to tell them who you are. And the reason why is because you're in the monkey sphere, right? You want to stay there as the real estate agent. So you don't want to pretend like you're not a real estate agent. You just don't want the focus to be on real estate, because they're interested in the information you're giving because it's not real estate information, but it's relevant that you're the agent, right? I'm your agent. I'm your local agent here to bring you local activities, right? Then you insert your short clip that you shot. Now, here's another hack for doing videos. Let's say you didn't shoot a video of yourself. You didn't go out, you didn't talk about something. Well, what do you put in? Go to TikTok. Go to TikTok and find whatever's trending. Okay? Make it appropriate. Okay? I want to send out, like, there's a lot of questionable things out there on TikTok, but there's a lot of relevant, really funny, really good things. So find what's trending, something that you're like, oh, this is a cool video. This is, it made me smile, made me laugh, or whatever, right? Copy the link and go to this website, snaptik.app. You post in the TikTok video link, and it downloads the TikTok video to your computer and takes out all watermarks and everything else. Now, when you take that video, if you add anything to it, it's yours and you can use it. So what you do is you take that video and you throw it up into Canva. They have a free service that you can do this on. You can throw it up into YouTube, and you just write, isn't this funny? Or check this out. You just write those words above the video somewhere or below the video. You just add something new, any type of new content. And now it's yours. And you can post it wherever you want to. It's your video. In this case, you're going to use it in your email. So what you would do in YouTube very easily is you could shoot your little intro, right? And it could be the same intro that you just use in every single video. It's your 30 seconds of, I don't even make it 30 seconds. How about 10 seconds of just you doing your quick intro? And then transition to the video that you took off of TikTok, and then transition out and do a soft call to action. Hey, I hope you thought that was as funny as I did. If you want any other tips or tricks, make sure you reach out to me. I'm your local real estate agent. Whatever you want your soft call to action to be, right? You always want to ask for the business. Okay. Hopefully you thought that was as funny as I did. If I can ever help any of your friends or family that are looking to buy or sell a house, please reach out to me. Right? You just get in the habit of always asking for the business. All right. Now, if this is not your thing, you're just not a tech person in any way, shape, or form. And knowing who you are is the most important thing, right? If you're going to take hours to try and figure this out, again, leverage yourself, leverage your time. Your time is your most valuable asset. Focus on what you do really well and outsource. So there's a great site called Fiverr. And for $5, they will edit your YouTube videos. So you would just take videos and you would tell them exactly what you want to do. And if you look here, there are 30,000 people willing to edit your video for $5. Now, you have to talk to them, right? You have to engage and hire the person. You have to send them the videos. You have to explain to them what you're trying to do, and what you want to be the intro, the outro, the middle, that kind of thing. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of go through that Fiverr process. It may take a couple days to get the process completed before they have a final video you can use. So obviously you're going to weigh that against, what I just told you. You could knock out that YouTube sandwich video thing if you were comfortable using YouTube in, like, I don't know, 10 minutes. It wouldn't take that long to do, but you just have to be honest with who you are. You don't want to end up spending your whole afternoon trying to put together an email. So just another tool that's out there. All right. What kind of stuff do you need in order to do your first video? Well, like I was saying, you just need your phone. Almost every phone out there, unless you're using one of these old flip phones, has a great camera. So just pull it out. You can even selfie stick it. Tanya knows I'm a big fan of the selfie stick. I'm out there with my selfie stick, waving it around like a tourist in Yellowstone all over the place. So you just selfie stick it out there and talk to your phone. What to say? Well, I just gave you a ton of examples on what you can say, but there's so many other things that you can talk about, right? Every single tip, trick, hack that you find could easily be a video. And everything you create here can also be content for social media posts, right? So you could build an email with a tip. You can make that tip into a video. You can make that tip into a meme that goes out and goes onto all your social media channels, right? So you can repurpose all of this stuff. Now, social media is like the Craigslist effect, which I don't know if you guys know what that is, but with Craigslist, it got to the point where you would post an ad on Craigslist, and so many people would post on Craigslist because it was like the third most popular website in the world, that within like a few minutes, your ad was buried hundreds of posts below, and nobody would ever find it. And so you only had a small audience that saw it. And social media is kind of the same way, especially with their algorithms. You make a post on social media, a handful of people will see it, and it gets buried pretty quickly. So you could actually post on the same subject, just different formats, multiple times a day, and you really wouldn't harass people because they just don't see that many of your posts. It's just the nature of social media. Now, obviously, that's as you get more and more friends, that becomes more and more the case, right? I got a lot of connections on social media, so that's my problem. If you've only got 10, they're probably going to see everything you post, right? But my point is, if you're sending an email and then you're doing a video and then you're posting around on all your social media channels about the same subject, it's really not a big deal because they're probably going to see it one place or the other. And you can mix it up, right? So once you've started building content, you don't have to post the same thing different places, right? I could take an email that I'm going to send 7 years from now and make it into a post today on my social channels, and it would be no big deal. All right, where to post? Well, we've just kind of talked about all that. Anywhere that you're online, you should be making posts. And you should be building out when you get like a good video or a really hot tip, you're like, man, or you're getting good feedback on something, right? So you share a tip, kind of like I was telling you about the cell phone trick, and people start giving you a lot of feedback. They're like, wow, that was really good, really informative. I really like that. Well, maybe you put that, you fancy it up a little and put it on your YouTube channel, right? Maybe that's something where you hire Fiverr to do a really nice intro and that kind of thing to put on your YouTube channel, right? And then always email it out. So, one other thing I want to mention before I get, well, here you go. Partner with your loan officer. What a great slide. Another tip that I wanted to share, when you're making phone calls to your database and you're trying to identify people A, B, and C, one of the best ways to do that is to ask them for a referral. So we all know that we have to build our team, right? We need to have landscapers, we need to have painters, we need to have all the trades. We need to have financial planners, insurance agents, title agents, loan officer. You don't have to ask them for a loan officer because you have the best one right in front of you. But the point is, you're always needing to build out your team, right? And if you've got a good plumber, you need to have 3 good plumbers, because when you're in some of these high demand trades, it's hard to find somebody that stays quality for a long period of time. It's just the nature of the business. So you need to always be on the hunt for electricians and plumbers and some of these positions where people are just in and out, right?
And hairdressers.
So when you get someone on the phone at the end of the conversation, after you caught up for a minute, you shared the tip, whatever it is that you call them about. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for a really good plumber. Do you know any plumbers that you would recommend? Right? Or whatever it is, whatever you're trying to fill out in your database. And then that person's going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? I know Joe, he did a great job for me. Let me get you his information. Or, I don't really know if I'm going to, you gauge by the way they refer somebody else is the way they're going to refer you. And so you gauge that and put them into the A, B, or C category based on how they refer trades or whoever it is that you're asking for. And that's an easy way to start to kind of segment down your database. Sorry, I wanted to throw that in earlier. I was actually going to put another slide with some of this stuff, but
I have actually a question for you, how you feel about this.
Sure.
So I have been advising my team to do A, B, and C, but I've also been having them create a tag for business for people that are small business owners. So then when they do pull out of their CRM, they can focus on small business owners and reciprocate, right? Give them business, they get business back, because everyone needs help right now. How would you segment that in your database?
So I've partnered with a lot of small businesses over the years. And the reason why is because they all have databases, or they should, right? And what I have found is, most people don't farm their database, not just in real estate, but in all industries. Now you get lots of contacts from big companies, but small companies, they don't do anything. And so if you can partner with them to help them grow and drive their business and to reach out and farm their database, you can always be on the side as the real estate agent that partnered with them. It's called co-branding. And so I'm a big proponent of that. So when I wrote my 10-year campaign, I actually wrote it 2 different ways. I wrote it once as if it was coming from me. And then I wrote it again as if it was coming from a real estate agent, so that I could co-brand that with agents. And so we would partner with agents, and we still do this to this day, but we partner with agents and we'd have them drop in all their contacts, and then they'd be on the 10-year autopilot campaign. And it's the same content, but it came from the agent's email. It had them as the signature line. And we were just the lender on the side going, we're the local lender, but it was coming from that agent, right? And I used to do the same thing with businesses. And so we would have them drop their database in and then send out information. But we would do a twist on it. We would go to them and we'd say, okay, let's say we went and we were talking to a masseuse, right? we'd go to them and we'd say, okay, I want 10 or 15 things about the massage business that the average person doesn't know. And they'd say, oh, well, if you did this or you do this, or, most people don't know this. I mean, they would give me like the secrets of their business that people don't know, right? Because, I know what people don't know about my business. You know what people don't know about your business. And so they would give me this list. Well, I would take that list and I would turn each one of those into an email. And then I would go to my 10-year campaign and I'd say, okay, the first email was an intro email of the business, right? Hey, this is, so-and-so masseuse. We've been around for so long and we're so thankful that you're part of our massage family. We can't wait to get our hands on you again. And we're going to share with you a lot of cool things that we've learned over the years that we think would be valuable to you, right? You just do like an intro thing with them. Then the next email would be the first tip that we shared, that they shared with us, that we wrote an email about, right? So it would be about their business, relevant to the industry. Then it would go to one of the regular tips and trick emails that we wrote in our campaign. And then every like 6 emails, we would put in another one of those tips about their business, the masseuse business. And it could be every 5 or 7. But the point is we sprinkled them in so that over that first year, they're getting mostly just cool stuff, tips, tricks. You're not overloading them with, we want to get your hands on you, right? You're just sharing with them all this cool stuff. But at the same time, you're interjecting some really fascinating information that the average person doesn't know about that person's business, whatever it is, right? So it wasn't overwhelming, but it kept them in front of them, kept them top of mind. And then all those business owners were staying in front of their database, in front of their clients, and we were on the side waving as the local lender. So you could do the same thing as a real estate agent. You build out your auto campaign and then go partner with local businesses and explain to them the power of farming their database. Because I guarantee you that most of them aren't doing anything. And they may have to build their database. A lot of them were like, well, yeah, we have all these clients come through the door, like the local cleaner. They're like, yeah, but we don't have anybody's information. I was like, you don't have anybody's information. So then we would put just a little, back then we had like a little card, a registration card, and a little like sign box, like what you would find at an open house. And we'd have people sign up with the name and email to get into the list, right? Onto their list. And we had like just a little call to action, a little value proposition. Now you can have a QR code and splash pages. It's very easy to do that kind of stuff. But back then, we didn't have that technology like we do today. So, but
well, you know what I also like, Clinton, is if they have all their people in there that are business owners, I always say, start a business networking group. Don't look for one. Start one on Fridays. Send out an email to everybody and say, hey, we're doing our small business networking group to help each other's businesses grow. Boom. Now you're in front of all the businesses.
Yeah. And we can talk about so many strategies, because this is I'm just teaching you the 3 pillars of database farming that you should be using. But, and this really falls when we start talking about farming your community and being the local expert. I'm actually putting a class together on that. That thing is a lot of information. But one of them is you should know all the businesses in your neighborhood. You should categorize them. You should have them in a Google spreadsheet. You should get to know every single one of your neighbors. And you should door knock and say, hey, look, I'm looking to highlight the local pros in my neighborhood. Not only do I want to use them, but I have all these clients that constantly need services, and I want them to use you too, because I'm in the business of helping my neighbors. We all thrive together as a community. And you go knock the door and you find out, what do these people do? Get their information. And you'd be surprised at how many small businesses there are in your neighborhood, and then put them in a Google Doc that you can share with all the people in the neighborhood. You get all their information, and then you can start to add value to each one of those businesses. So like I just had to have my windshield replaced from my insurance company, and there's a tent strip across the top, and I had to go, they're like, you got to go find a company to replace this tent strip. Well, my neighbor, like 3 houses down, owns a tent company. So I called them up and just said, look, the insurance is going to pay for it. Bill them a lot. We went over there and got the tent strip replaced because we're supporting the community. We're just supporting the people around us. So that's part of my neighborhood farming class. And I'll come back if you want me to and teach that when I get it completed. That thing is like,
I'd love to have a
that's
workshop behind that.
Huh?
Be great. I'd love to have you teach the class and then have a little workshop.
Sure. And absolutely. These both kind of pair together when you start talking about small businesses. And that class will be probably 2 hours. I mean, there's just a lot to it.
And then Clinton, I have a hard stop at 2:00.
Okay.
So I don't know how.
I think we're almost done. Okay. So I'll run through this pretty quick. Monthly mailers. So I follow a system. I write a letter every single month to my past clients, to my database, and it's snail mail. Now I have a guy that we send it to him. He prints it, stamps, does the envelope, sends it out, that kind of thing. But I actually physically write this letter, and I send out 4 types. I send out an I like you. This is an appreciation letter, a Superman letter where we just highlight where we did a great job for somebody or a spectacular product that's out there. And I'm a real person letter, which is like a Christmas letter, and a recipe tip holiday letter. And so we're doing these 3 times a year. You're getting one of these types, and it's on a schedule. So this is my schedule that I keep, January to December. And this is exactly what I send out every single time. And then I dropped in examples of the last 4, so you can see what I did. So on the 4th of July, I gave them a wing recipe, and I gave them a little word thing that they could print and use with the kids.
Clinton, you could go a little slower. I can take my next call.
Okay. I'm like 2 minutes. I got a lot to go through.
No, I want you to continue because we're also recording this. So if it's okay with you guys, I will step away and I want him to continue this because who is loving this information? Is this valuable? And I'm like, no, you can't run through this part. So I love this. And a lot of people are going to be coming back for the recording. So take your time and don't worry about speeding through that. I'll do that on FaceTime.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Thank you.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Michaela the host. And then if anybody wants to come in, Michaela, is that okay? Will you have some time? Okay. If anybody comes in, then just let them in. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, perfect. Go ahead. Sorry, Clinton.
All right. No worries. All right. So people love the letters. And the reason why is because, there was a time where we just got lots of mail, and you got lots of junk mail, and you just threw everything away and it wasn't effective. Now everything's online, and they just, it's all on social media, all that kind of stuff. And you don't get that much mail. So when someone actually writes you a letter, it's different, right? If you're doing what everybody else is doing, then it's not effective. But when you're doing what other people are not doing, that's when you start to kind of stand out. And now somebody taking the time to write a real letter is very unique. Now, I've been writing letters since 2015, and since I'm following a system, I know exactly what I'm going to write about. It doesn't take me very long to write a letter because I know what I'm you're going to write about, right? So on my 4th of July letter, I write a 4th of July letter every 4th of July. So I know it's going to, I grab a little image, I throw it at the top, I share a recipe. One year I did a corn recipe. Sometimes I'll do hacks, like one of my letters falls on Thanksgiving. And so I'll share hacks about how to prep food. Like if you want to make mashed potatoes, you throw the potatoes in boiling water and the skin falls right off, and then you can make mashed potatoes really easily, like that kind of hack, right? As opposed to a recipe. So I kind of mix it up. One of them falls on St. Patrick's Day in March. And so one time I sent them all a scratch card and just said, I hope your luck's as good as mine. And, I'm lucky to have you as a client, something along those lines. One time I sent them seeds butterfly packets of seeds they could plant. So we kind of mix it up a little bit. But I call it the recipe card, and it's just really where we're sharing cool stuff with them, and sometimes really cool recipes. So this ring recipe, I actually made the recipe on the 4th of July and took pictures of it on the grill and eating it. Got some feedback from some neighbors that tried it, and then was able to use that out there as content relevant to the letter that I had mailed out to everybody. The second one here is our I'm a Real Person letter, or our Christmas letter. This is where we just share over the last quarter everything that's been going on. Now, I'm on a team of 4 people, and we pack all that into a letter, and that's a lot of stuff. You're going to have one, so it's going to be a lot easier for you. But we always share a couple pictures, let people connect with us, let them know what's going on in our lives. What trips have we taken? What outdoor activities have we been doing? What kind of events have happened in the family? Did we have a graduation? In this one, we had a baby coming. Because these are my last 4 letters that I wrote. And then next to that is our Superman letter. And so this is where we highlight either a story of a family that we helped out on the lending side, where we really made an impact, some kind of, or we highlight a loan product that really helps people. In this case, we were talking about down payment assistance. I shared with them my YouTube channel where we talk about all these other programs outside of CHFA, how CHFA has a lot of limitations that other programs have, right? There's other down payment assistance programs that don't stop at 620, that go to 580, that allow things like non-occupying co-borrowers, where the parents want to help them qualify to buy a house, that CHFA won't touch it, or 2-unit properties where you can get into being a real estate investor with down payment assistance, where CHFA won't touch it. And CHFA has a lot of restrictions that other products just don't have, and people don't know that. So we highlight things in this letter that people don't know. It's just not readily known information out there. And then the last one is the I like you letter. And this is just, it's gratitude. A lot of times we'll throw a quote in there, and we're just telling them how thankful we are that they're part of our family, right? And so those are the 4 types of letters, and we just kind of rotate through them. You guys, I'll send these out so you can kind of look at it and dive into it. And again, anything's better than nothing, right? Just get out there and start writing. And what you find is every time you do one, you get better ideas. You're like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. Maybe I'll throw that in there, right? Very impactful. All right, now let's talk about the email. I told you they had this huge study that we did with 9 billion emails. Okay. So we're going to talk about that because stats don't lie. First of all, when you're dealing with email, you're going to get about a 14% open rate. That is ideal. Now, maybe you'll get a little higher open rate, maybe a little lower, but the point is it's not going to be 100%. It's not even going to be 80% or even 60%. And that's okay. At the end of the day, you send it, you let them decide whether they're going to open it or not. Now, your final goal is going to be to get your followers to follow your call to action. Whoever you're sending this to, and you're going to give them a call to action, if they take that call to action, that is the ultimate goal of all of this database marketing that we're doing, right? So when we're asking them to call or to reach out or to refer, when they do that, that is something that is the ultimate goal for what we're doing. If we go back to the letters, I don't know if you can see this, but at the bottom of each one of these, I've got these PSs, right? This is my soft call to action on every one of these mailers. So everything we do, we have a call to action. And it just says, if you know anybody that's interested in purchasing or refinancing or something along those lines, make sure you share our information, right? I mean, we're just reminding them that, hey, this is how we feed our families. This is how we stay alive. We want you to think of us and to refer us. Now, people say, how often should you email? I will tell you the stats say once a week. But the reality is that if you're giving them crap, you should never send it to them. What's crap? Hey, I just listed this property at whatever the address is. Never send your listings to your database. Because again, if they're not in the market to buy a house in the next couple months, they don't want to see that information. It's not relevant. They're not interested, and they'll tune you out. And once you get tuned out, it's hard to get tuned back in, right? But if you bring them gold, if you give them stuff that they care about, that you can value, you can send it to them multiple times a day. They want it as often as you'll send it. But the reality is we're going to follow the stats, and it's once a week. So this is the MailChimp study where they did 9 billion emails. And so the first graph here that I'm sharing with you is the effect of the frequency that you send out an email. So what's the opt-out rate based on how often you send an email out? And what was really surprising to me on this was that if you're sending an email out anytime in the past, like 2 times a day or once a week, or I mean once a day, that you actually didn't have that much of a fallout in the opt-out rate. And what ends up happening is if you send it out too infrequently, it's a surprise to people and they actually opt out more, which I thought was really strange. It was not what I would have expected at all. So once a month actually had the highest opt-out rate, and once a day had the lowest opt-out rate. So you say, well, why don't you send an email every single day? Well, once a week is enough. So if you can get an email out once a week and it's not on autopilot, you're doing fantastic. Putting it on autopilot makes it actually realistic and achievable. And what you'll notice is as you're going up, once you get out here to about a week, the fallout rate really doesn't change that much, right? But when you start to infrequently send out an email, it starts to skyrocket here. Now, the next thing that they looked at was what effect does the day of week that you send it out have on the click-through rate? Meaning like people opening your email. And what they found was that on Tuesdays had the lowest click-through rate, while Saturday and Sunday had the highest open rate. And, that's probably, I would think, because people are off on the weekends and they don't, I get like 600 emails a day, so I don't open most of my emails and they just get deleted. But on the weekend, I barely get that many. And so I'm more apt to open an email. And I would think other people are as well, as long as it's something that you're interested in getting. So that will get you the best results. But I will tell you at the end of the day, anytime during the week that you send an email out really is perfectly fine. I never paid attention to sending it out on one day or another. The way my system is on autopilot is when I put somebody in the campaign, it sends an email out that day, then 7 days later, then 7 days later, 7 days later. So if I put you in the campaign on Tuesday, you're going to get an email every Tuesday for 10 years. If I put you an email on the campaign on Thursday, you're going to get an email every Thursday for 10 years. And you're just going to start at the beginning of that campaign and work through to the end. So I've got literally hundreds of different types of emails going out every single day all over the place. And so I don't get to where I focus on what day of the week I'm going to send out. But what that will tell you is, let's say you're doing a not autopilot email. And, you're going to create one of those video sandwiches, something along those lines, right? Well, you're going to send that out probably over the weekend versus on Tuesday, because you're going to get that higher rate, right? So when you're doing a specific email, then you might want to target the weekend. However, if you're doing an email about fun things to do this weekend in Denver, you're not going to send it on Saturday. You're probably going to send it on Thursday, right? So, there's going to be some ebb and flow to this, but just know that it's interesting, the stats that they found in this study. So also they looked at what day of the week affected the unsubscribe rate. not just the open rate, but the unsubscribe rate. And it followed kind of the same lines. Emails sent on Tuesday had the lowest click-through rate, but they also had the highest unsubscribe rate. And then on Saturday, they had the highest open rate and the lowest unsubscribe rate, right? And so one of the things that I heard a mentor of mine say once when he was looking at this stat was, well, people probably came in on Monday, they were behind trying to get caught up at work. And then on Tuesday, they came in and they're stressed out and frustrated because they haven't accomplished what they wanted to. And so they're more likely to delete and unsubscribe from stuff like this. I thought that was an interesting take. And then the next thing they looked at was, well, what time of the day had the best click-through rate? And they found that emails sent in the morning have the highest open rate. So all of my emails that I autopilot, they all go out at like 6 in the morning. So they're sitting there. And that's because as emails are coming in through the day, you're getting into your work day, you just don't have the time to look at stuff like you do in the morning, right? Most people can sit down with a cup of coffee and start to read through things that they get, that kind of stuff. And I will tell you that the same times and intervals that they found in this study with email work the same with social media. So when you're doing your social media posts, you're getting better interactions on the weekend. If you're posting in the morning, more people are going to see it than if you're posting at 2 in the afternoon, right? And so that might, as you're pushing out various things, might impact when you're actually going to schedule or when you're going to put them out, or you might hang on to something for another day because you're going to get a little better result. All right, so let's talk about email format. When we make an email, you want it to be easy to read. And so you're going to follow a format where you're going to do one line, then you're going to do double space, then 2 lines, double space, 1 line. And it doesn't have to be 1 line, 2 line, 1 line. The idea is you're not going to write 7 lines, double space, 7 lines. You're going to break it up so it becomes very easy for them to be able to digest that email. Okay. And so it's going to be short, like this one here, but it's just going to be broken up to where people can read and follow through it very easily. The biggest takeaway on this is don't write a big giant paragraph. And then when you put links into your emails, you're going to put them in several times throughout that email. That way, as people are reading through your email, they can interact with wherever they are in that email without having to go back up to the top of it. And what we find is the link that we put in that PS line at the end of the email or at the bottom of our letter gets the most activity, the most links, the most connections. And that's just because people read through the email and then they interact versus going back up into the email. You want your call to action. And in this case, when you're providing links to places, that's your call to action. You want that to be as easy as possible for them to interact with. All right. The next thing I want to tell you is focus on your fans. Okay. Some will, some won't. So what? You're going to have people that are going to opt out, that are going to unsubscribe, that are going to disengage, and that's okay. At the end of the day, you want to be able to push out your message to as many people and as often as possible. And the people that are going to hear and receive that message are going to do that. And the people that aren't are going to opt out. And that's okay. There's nothing you can do to change that. The faster you can get them to opt out, the better. So you want to go and be in front of them so much that they have to make that decision, right? That's part of the process. And a lot of people get kind of hung up on that. It really bothers them when people opt out. But I think it's wonderful because that weeds you down to the people that are actually paying attention, who you should be focusing on, right? And what we also find is people opt out of certain mediums. And what that means is some people want to get the emails, but they don't necessarily read the letters I send. or they don't want to get the emails, but they absolutely read every single letter that I sent, right? And maybe it's just because of where they are, like older people, they don't interact with email as well or text messages as well, but they love to read the letters, right? So you get, when you hit people with these different communication styles, and why we start with at least the three main pillars of call, email, and mail, and really nowadays text should be in there as well. It's really communicating in the style that they want to be communicated in, right? And they may opt out or choose not to be a part of certain avenues, but be okay with the others. So you're going to find that. And then when you're categorizing your database, you're going to be putting those people in A's. Those are your fans. Those are the people that, you know, they like every post that you put out there. They're sharing it all the time. They're always trying to find a way to get your name out there and get more business to you. Those are the people you want to focus on. So when I say focus on them, those are the people that you're going to want to invest money into or time into. If you want to actually go and meet people in person and do stuff, right? There's all kinds of other systems and gurus out there that tell you all these things that you should be doing to your database. You should be doing that to your A's and your A's exclusively. All right. I think that's everything I've got in this class. I gave you all my social channels so you can connect with me. I'm always pushing out content every single day. Every single day I'm pushing out stuff, either for my business partners or for our clients. All of it's stuff that you guys can steal, right? You don't have to brand me, steal it, use it. It's out there to help everybody. Okay. I mean, I would appreciate it if you shared and kept my branding or whatever it was, but I don't care. At the end of the day, I just want to get the information out there. It's why I started a YouTube channel, and why I do a lot of this stuff is because there's just so much out there to share and to teach, that I just want you guys to have all that information. So please plug in, and hopefully you get some value out of that. And I will work hard to finish my community farming class for you guys. I'm sure Tanya will send me the list from today's class. And if so, I'll make sure I let you know when I put that on. That's a very interesting class. Any questions that I can answer for you guys? Check the chat.
Actually, I had a question. So you're talking about when you were kind of putting everything together for your campaign. How long does that take you to actually really map out your 10-year campaign?
So I built it over time, meaning I started with just one email, right? And I put together 5 emails before I actually started sending them. So if I, got behind or missed a week or whatever, I wouldn't like lose. And then I just built onto it, and I tried to make at least 1 email or more a week. And then I was finding I was doing 2, 3 a week, and then 4, 5. And so I just kind of kept building onto it, and I build onto it today. In fact, I ask my database that if they ever run across any kind of tips or tricks or anything like that, to share them with me. And people do. They come and they're like, hey, I've never seen you talk about this. And they'll just share all this cool stuff that they know or that they've found out about. And I'll turn around and I'll put it into an email and add it to the campaign and just throw it in somewhere. And so it kind of takes on a life of its own after a little while, right? And people get excited to share with you the fascinating things they know, because they know you're into that kind of stuff, right? And so it just kind of, it ends up, it's a fun journey to be on, because you get to see a side of people that you don't always see, and you make these connections. It's fascinating. Another one, and I'll just give you guys some examples, because you can steal all this stuff. In fact, if I'll throw you on my personal campaign, you can steal all my emails. Doesn't matter. One of my tips is, if you get into a rental car and you don't know what side the gas station's on, gas sign, this actually was stolen by, I want to say, Liberty Mutual or something. I don't know. I saw this on TV now, and I'm like, wow, this is my tip from like 2009. This is crazy. This was one of my first 5. If you get in a car and you don't know what side the gas tank's on, you look down at the little gas symbol on the dashboard, and it has an arrow that points to whatever side the gas tank's on. And so when I saw that on TV, I was like, wow, that's been in my tip campaign since 2009. Now it's a national commercial. This is fantastic. So, and then another one, a lot of them are like safeguards, like on your car is your VIN number. You know, if you look through the windshield, you can read the VIN number on a car. Anybody can take that VIN number down to the dealership and get a key fob made. They don't verify ownership. So they can go down to the dealership and say, hey, I lost my key fob. I need a new one made for my car. Here's the VIN number. And they can buy a key fob and then they can get into your vehicle. So for that, it's a safety one. And we tell people just put some electrical tape over your VIN number and you don't have to worry about it, right? But that's a real thing. And then another tip that we have that's like a safety thing is, and really relevant for you guys, is never take a picture of the actual house keys at closing, because cameras are so high definition now that somebody can take that picture down to a locksmith and they can make that exact key and they can get into your house. So we have a big wooden key and we show up and we bring it, and but most people don't realize that kind of stuff, right? So these are like little safety tips that we share, and these are some of the things that we stick out into our email. Now, every single one of them isn't like a tip email about safety, but it's just mixed in with all the other types that we do, right? So people want to know this, and we get a lot of feedback. They reply back. I've had people that saved my email and then sent me a referral with that email like 7 years later after I sent the email. And I'm looking at it going, why do they have this? Where did they keep this thing? Like, this is just wild. So, I mean, when you share something that's really important to people, or that's really good information, like, you'd be amazed at how well they hang on to that and have your information and then have the recall to be able to send somebody to you in the future, right? No one's going to save your, I just listed this property at this address email for 5 years, right? So that's the power of this campaign. I forgot I threw some more slides in here. I just submitted this class for CE credit the other day. And so I thought that was the end, but I got a few more slides. So I always tell people at the Colorado Mortgage Team, our partnership is your secret weapon. And what that means is we just do a lot of stuff to try and partner and help you grow and build your business. There's 4 of us on the team. We all have 25 plus years experience. We're a bunch of old guys now, I guess, but we have over a decade of experience building and driving business. And so that gives us 32 hours in a day when the next guy has 8, which means we can invest a lot of time in your business. And we want to do that. And so this is just a lot of different ways that we partner with you, different things that we can do. And so if you ever want to sit down and do a strategy session one-on-one, I'll probably be the one that does it with you. We'll learn about your business, kind of the way you like to grow and the things that you like. And then we'll put a plan together of how we can make that happen. Because at the end of the day, if you absolutely will not pick up a phone, no matter what, whether your life is on the line, and I build you a whole system about phone calls, you'll never do it, right? So we want to build stuff that you guys will actually do, that you'll enjoy doing and have fun doing. So there's lots of ways that we can do that. But until we have a strategy session and I get to learn more about your business, it's hard for me to say, hey, this is what you should do, or how we should be helping. And then the last slide on here, I believe, maybe, we'll see, be the first to know. So if you guys want to be on our insider list, which means when we roll out a class, we send it out to this list. This is our insider list, where anything that's new or relevant going on, any kind of events we're doing, classes we're doing, stuff that comes out, we send it out to this list. So some of the things that you'll hear about is I'm going to teach this class again. I'll probably build out a few more slides on October 12th. That'll end up going out to this list. We do a monthly wing event, all you can eat wings. You come get all you can eat wings and you get to network. And it's like, we call it Wings and Wisdom. It's like a lunch and learn on us. We talked about assumable loans last Tuesday. When we announced the subject of the next one, we'll send it out to this list, and that's free for you guys to come out and eat. I'm working, we're in beta launch right now for our own cryptocurrency for the industry, also a NFT closing gift company. And so when we actually do a real launch of those products, we'll teach a class. And of course, you guys will be the first to know to be able to utilize that stuff to build and grow your business. And then anytime we have really unique things come out into the marketplace, like we rolled out a product that's exclusive for us on the broker world, where you can finance a 3 and 4 unit property with only 10% down as a primary or 15% down as an investor versus doing 25% down on a conventional loan. And it carries no mortgage insurance. So that's a really unique product that saves people a lot of money if they're into buying 3 and 4 unit properties. And so we'll send stuff like that out to the list, things that are very relevant for you guys. And I will tell you, you won't get that many emails, maybe once every other week. Like I'm very hesitant to send stuff to this list because it's not something where we're going to spam you and we're going to send you all this different kind of stuff. We have plenty of other channels to harass you on. This isn't the one. This is our truly insider exclusive list where you guys get to know things that other people just don't know. Oh, and this is, yeah, okay. So I did throw a slide in about this. So I mentioned it. We're in beta launch right now for the NFT closing gift and for the mortgage crypto. Mortgage crypto is a white label reward token for the real estate industry. So think like you earn reward points different places and you get to turn them in for things. Well, that's what this is. It's you get to earn cryptocurrency, or we actually have physical coins that we're getting made that we'll give out to our clients for the people that aren't into crypto, but they'll be able to trade it back in for stuff like appraisals and VOEs and different things like that. And then other people in the industry will be able to offer it as a reward and accept it for, whatever they choose to, right? So, and we'll help roll that out from industry to industry as that goes. But really, we just want a way to create a sticky ecosystem in this business like they do in other industries that we just don't have yet. And then I'm a non-practicing licensed real estate agent. I've been a practicing agent in 2 different states, built successful businesses, handed them off. I'm a lender by nature. It's what I enjoy. I don't want to walk into a house and talk about paint colors and why you don't want to buy this great deal because your couch doesn't fit in the living room. You guys are a special breed. I applaud you. I just don't want to be you, but I have a license just so I have the knowledge and the skills. And so I'm a certified AI agent, also blockchain and crypto certified. One of only a few hundred in the world right now. And so what that does is just give me a whole new skill set that I can bring to the table to help you grow and drive your business. And then I think that might be everything. Yep, that looks like all the slides I added in. So again, anything I can answer for you guys before I let you go. Thank you for staying on with me longer than we expected. Maybe I should have turned this into a 1.5 hour class.
You were definitely worth it.
Yeah, it was all good, all golden. Loved it from start to finish. It was really good, Clinton. I look forward to the next one.
Awesome.
It was awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, I will get all your information from Tanya and I will send you all the slides so you have them and you can dive in. And then again, feel free to set up a strategy session with me and I will help you roll out any of this stuff in your business that I can. And do you guys want to be added to my campaign?
Mm-hmm. I would.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll go ahead
I sent
and
you my email. I've already sent you my email, my phone number, everything. Yes, I want to be on your campaign.
Yes,
Okay.
you do.
I'll
Thank
make
you,
sure I get
Clinton.
you guys added to that. Again, just copy, paste, steal it, put your own branding, your own twist to it. That's why I do all this. So that you
That's
guys.
a great gift.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you guys have a fantastic day and I'll be hopefully talking to you all very soon.